Hello, welcome to a video where we talk about panic attacks and how to slow them down. To do this, we have to sort of look at the anatomy of a panic attack. Like what exactly, at an emotional level, at a deep surrendered emotional level, what it is. I would describe a panic attack as someone who's experienced many fucking panic attacks in my life, and one who's personally slowed down not just in myself but in other people's. A panic attack is like a triggered train that leaves the station. Something happens and the train fucking goes. He's like, oh God. And dare we say it, it's a train of thought and a train of feeling. So what ends up happening is that when we are currently experiencing a panic attack, it's almost uncontrollable. The train is fucking going. It's going and going and going, and eventually we have to calm it down. Or it slows down momentum, or something happens, or the train has a chance of derailing. My first intense panic attack was in the last year of my high school, where I put a sock on. I couldn't put the other sock on because if I did, I'd have to actually study, and I remember my mother came into my room and I fucking cried. I literally hid behind the couch because I was hiding from the work I had to do, like the immense pressure I put myself under and all that sort of stuff. And it was like my brain had to fucking just restart. Long story short, panic attacks are almost trained. By the time we actually have one, we've been most likely, in most cases, we've been doing it for years in private. We've been stressed, we've been worried. We haven't actually let our emotions be felt and up and out. So like a volcano, it fucking erupts. So what can you do about it? What can you do to slow it down? What can you do to stop panic attacks in the future? Now, at the current time of recording this, I'm currently recording an online course called Unlock Your Desires. Basically, this online course is about feeling your desires and the things that stop you from actually taking actions towards them. All about deep emotional surrender. So I can't remember what I've said in the previous video, and I can't remember what I've said in this course. Frankly, it doesn't fucking matter anyway. But here we are, we're walking a path of surrender. We're walking down a lifestyle of surrender where we are basically leaning into life rather than avoiding it. So first things first, you wouldn't have a panic attack about anything you didn't care about. Congratulations, you're alive. Second thing is that we want to slow the train down. We want to slow the whole train of thought, the volcano. We want to slow it down. We don't have to stop it, we just have to slow it down. And even if it's the most tiniest increment, that's our body and mind learning how to slow it down by that tiniest increment next time. How we slow it down, I bet you fucking know the answer by now if you've been following me for a while, and if you're new, hello. It's deep emotional surrender. It's fucking always deep emotional surrender. I swear to God, 90% of problems, surrender is like life problems, day to day, fucking like life on a whole fucking lifetime level problems. Surrender is a huge solution to. So what do? We surrender to how it feels. Because remember the rule, sometimes it's not the thing, it's the thing about the thing. So sometimes it's not the panic attack, it's the panic attack about the panic attack. We're freaking out about freaking out, and then we start freaking out about that, we start freaking out about that, we start freaking out about that. This shit has layers. When we individually look and surrender and feel every single layer, no matter how deep, no matter how painful, very slowly and surely, one step at a motherfucking time, the freakouts will stop, the freakouts will slow down, and more and most importantly, because you have shown your body it's safe to handle it, you can handle it next time. Now what ends up happening is, it's like chipping away at a sculpture. Every time you surrender, you chip one piece away. Will one act of surrender change the whole thing? Potentially. It has the option, it has the possibility. But as I said before, one step at a time. When you are freaking out, that is the time to surrender. When you are not to life, because we can change life. We're allowed to change life. Like, this is not a passive process. What we are doing is we're actually trying less. So we are being more. So we surrender to the pain. We surrender to the freak out. We surrender to the stress. We surrender to the anxiety. We might realize we have to do something about it. Or we might realize we just have to get through it. But as you look at it, the train slows down. And as you look at it, the train slows down and you get better at slowing down the train. And here's the fun part. As you look at it and your train slows down, you get better at slowing down other people's trains. It's insane. It's like you give the gift you give to yourself. So if you give the gift you give to yourself and you help and you help yourself, you can help other fucking people. That's the goal here. We make the world sweeter. We make our lives sweeter. We make everyone we meet sweeter. And those people then make other people sweeter. Want to change the world? Change yourself. Want to help the world? Help yourself. So what do we do when we're dealing with a panic attack? Step 1, surrender. That's it. I say that very tongue-in-cheek, but when you're in it, it might be hard. It might be hard to remember this because you are freaking the fuck out. But here's what you do. You forgive yourself. If you remember to do this once and you have panic attacks regularly, and you maybe not, this is a video, surprise. But fun, say you have a panic attack and you forget it, but then afterwards you remember, Sharam said to surrender. Sharam said to surrender. The next time you forget it. And then afterwards you go, Sharam said to surrender. I got to remember that. Then the third time you remember it. That's a breakthrough right there. And even if you chip away one tiny aspect of what would make you freak out, what would make you anxious, that is a breakthrough. Remember, the act of surrender itself is a breakthrough. Because as we surrender, we're actually brave. You're actually physically letting go of fears in order to fully surrender. That's like the fucking first step. You cannot surrender without having a breakthrough. That's why I do it constantly. I'm a junkie. So here we are. I originally wanted to make this video about music. So I'm going to drop this little random truth bomb here as well. Basically, I've noticed that one of the other ways that you notice you've had a breakthrough is when you start noticing different music and it feels like such juice, the music we tend to watch tends to be a reflection of, or music we tend to listen to tends to be a reflection of who we are. Sometimes songs can change us because that person has healed, and by in proximity we heal too, their world is sweeter, so therefore ours is. But also simultaneously, we are attracted to different songs when we heal. So I noticed another song this morning and it was different to what I normally would listen to, and it was just so exciting for me. And it was literally exactly what I was going through. Exactly what I was going through. So that's the journey you're on, that's the journey I'm on. I'm here as your coach, but I'm also here as someone walking the same fucking path. As a student of surrender, you are walking one step at a time. As a master of surrender, I am walking one step at a time. That is the journey. Eventually, you start to heal yourself so much that you are like juicing life for all it's worth. Now in Melbourne, we can go up to 25 kilometers away from the house. Actually, there's more changes too. Very exciting. I can now go potentially to a restaurant. Wow. But I swear to God, I spent so much time meditating this year in isolation that when I finally was able to go 25 kilometers, I was in the city or around the city and I was tripping balls from how exciting it was because my capacity for love had increased, and I love urban architecture. Fun fact, I didn't know this about myself until I went there. I was taking photos of things that other people find ugly, or not find ugly, but wouldn't find as interesting as I would. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this little bit of mess in the corner of this building is beautiful. And so that's the journey we are on. We are increasing our capacity for life. We are emptying the well of pain and increasing our capacity for life and increasing our capacity for ourselves. And as that happens, as you walk this path, life gets better and better and better and better and better. But it does require you to surrender to the shit. It does require you to surrender to the pain, the bullshit things that we have been feeling for our entire life, but we have refused to feel fully. It's not the fact that you are anxious. That is not the problem. The problem was the fact that you weren't anxious enough. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to, if you haven't already got it already, the 3 steps to unbreakable confidence. It's an audio coaching session where I coach you through an audio around the concept of surrender with confidence. And if you haven't already booked your free call with me, at the point of this time, everyone gets 1, unless you're lucky, then you get more than 1. Just because I'm still trying to figure out a way to coach this professionally that is more financially viable for a lot of people. I know when I'm privately coaching people one-on-one, tends to be those people that can afford it. Those tend to be those like either high rollers or stuff like that. And that's pretty cool, but surrender is for everyone. You know, that's why I do these videos, because I want everyone to know it is for everyone. You know, people ask me, who's your target demographic? And I go, fucking humans, mate. So I'm trying to come up with some coaching program that is both financially viable for me and for more people, so I can live more this life that I want to lead, and you guys can lead your life that you want to lead. So hand in hand, we are in this together. And also at this point in time, I'm still recording Unlock Your Desires, which is the online course that I'm creating that is around unlocking, like literally surrendering to your desires, letting them come up, letting all the fears, the anxieties, stuff like that, and an appreciation for our dark desires that we often suppress, letting those come up so we can be full, whole, happy fucking people. All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.